This is a full gameplay of the #1 Psylocke in the world with no pauses or skips, so you can see every decision they make throughout the entire game, which is the best way I find to watch these types of videos. However, throughout the gameplay, I'm going to be providing commentary and notes here on the side about the player, the hero, and the decisions that they're making throughout the game, which I believe makes them so great. To start off with, I'll give you a little background on the player, who goes by Nectar. Now, from what I could find online, Nectar is an Australian player who had a small run in Overwatch Open tournaments between 2016 and 2018. I tried researching his account and I did find an overbuff profile that seemed to fit him. However, it showed a peak of a diamond rank in Overwatch, which I felt low to me, but maybe he had a different profile he played on, or maybe he's just improved a lot over the last 7 years. Regardless, other than that, I couldn't really find that much. The linked social media accounts that were on his Wikipedia were no longer really active or existing. So it doesn't appear that there's been much activity over the last 7 years, other than clearly him putting in the work to improve. At the time of this recording, he is sitting at number 3 on the global leaderboards with only about 80 hours played, which is pretty crazy. And as you can see from his previous matches, he seems to play mostly private scrims or tournament matches, sprinkling in just enough comp to keep himself high up on the leaderboard. To me, that shows dedication to this player wanting to try to go pro in this game, or at a minimum putting in the work to play at a high level. I would not be surprised if Nectar gets picked up for a pro team and we start seeing his name more and more as this game develops and the esport around it continues to grow. And with that, let's start breaking down some of this gameplay. Now, a quick tip about Psylocke and something to keep in the back of your mind is her damage fall-off starts at 15 meters. That means that she is usually most deadly between 10 to 15 meters. That's kind of the sweet spot for her. And so just keep that in mind, how this player utilizes that to the best of their ability. One of the first things that I want to highlight or note is the amount of awareness that Nectar shows while playing. He kind of seems to just float around the map, always appearing to be in the right position to either finish an enemy, find a health pack, or narrowly escape an encounter. This plays into his positioning, which is something a lot of players can learn from. You'll notice that throughout the gameplay, he has a pattern of finding an angle, doing the most damage he can, and then once he gets detected or takes a bit of damage, instantly changing position and repeating this pattern to deal an incredible amount of damage. Not only that, he's really good at knowing how to apply the most pressure in any given situation. You'll notice that when they have a tank like Venom dive in, he's right behind them, taking advantage of the space that dive created and the kind of chaos to be able to pick up a DPS or healer, or just really output damage to keep the pressure on and their team backing off. On the flip side of that, when his team is struggling, he's able to back off enough to be able to still apply pressure without giving up too much space, which slows the enemy's progression and allows him to kind of keep pressure while his team regroups. You'll also see that throughout this game, he really takes advantage of that 10 to 15 meter range to be able to position himself to do the most damage possible. Now, there are going to be times you'll notice that he's spamming attacks outside of this range, and it's important to note that that's mostly primarily just to build ult charge. He knows that it provides a little bit of pressure, but it's also just allowing him to build ult as his team regroups behind him. Now, another skill of his that you want to pay attention to is his ability to track enemies and seemingly always know where they're at. You'll see throughout this gameplay, he rarely loses sight of his target, regardless of their mobility. He seems to kind of be one step ahead of them and know when they're going to reposition or change, and he's right there with them, following them to finish the kill. He also seems to be very aware of the team's position at all times. You can kind of watch and tell that there's moments where he'll relock on a target, most likely because he had a teammate call out that target, and you don't really ever see him kind of searching for a target. It almost seems like he just snaps from one target to another, knowing where they're going to be at. Now, another thing to note on this that you'll see that he'll do is he'll actually pre-fire corners. And a lot of the times it's almost like he has x-ray vision, because he's right. He knows where a target might be coming from, flanking or pushing, and he's already pre-firing that, knowing if he can get a hit on them but as they come around the corner, he's already in a position to win that fight before it even happens. Now, ultimately, we can't end this video without talking about his aim, and yes, it is really good, but I don't think that's what makes him the best Psylocke. Instead, I really think it's his awareness and positioning. You'll see that every single time he's engaging an enemy, he's almost always in an advantaged position. Yes, he hits his shots to get the kills, but throughout this gameplay, he's able to get picks before the DPS or his target even really realize where he is at. And by the time that player can call him out, he's already repositioned himself. It makes it incredibly annoying to play against him and provides so much pressure that you'll see throughout this gameplay. Keep in mind, this is a top 500 gameplay. He's playing against very good players, but his ability to position himself, do damage, and apply pressure really keeps the enemy team unable to make much ground throughout this entire map. So that's going to do it for my commentary. I'm going to leave the last half of this video for you to watch and enjoy the pure gameplay, but try to keep in note some of those things I talked about. Watch his positioning, pay attention to the awareness he has around the map, and ultimately how he uses his mechanics to outmaneuver and also put himself in fights that he is most likely going to win. So enjoy the rest of this gameplay, and I will see you in the next video.
At least you are truly free now, Mantis. Step aside. Farewell. Your feast has come to an end.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
You're mine. What sayonara?
It's the grand finale.
Us against the world.
I needed that.
Shake it up. The Punisher is in turret mode.
My opponent.
Sight, we need to It's spider time!
I don't give your mine.
They've almost got it!
Mind over matter.
Control C!
Step aside. Healing magic. Lovely.
Focus on the battle.
Hitting harder than ever.
You made me...
Miniature metal spider.
Oh, I need assistance.
You're mine.
Need some help.
The spider nest hasn't
Focus
cleared.
on the battle. Friends, gather around!
Your powers are mine!
I am ready to put on a show!
Your spider.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
My light cannot be snuffed.
You made me angry.
I'm opening a portal. Pentagram.
Out of sight. Big weapons don't.
Judge, jury, executioner!
The area's almost yours.
You're mine.
You're doing better than they are.
Step aside. aside. Sayonara.
It's spider time!
Unleash the Vishanti's power! Middle spider will not
Gather around!
It's over.
Double KO! You don't have to fight alone. Control lost! Feel that! Fight that!
Hitting harder than ever.
Step aside. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Sayonara.
Beware!